What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to all the love, all the new subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Y'all like family to me. But in this video today, I'm going to be giving my final thoughts on the project that is supposed to be dropping this Friday, Travis Scott's Utopia. I'm going to be giving you my expectations, my hopes, and my predictions in this video, and just want to talk about this release before it comes out because it is slated to be one of the biggest releases of the year, if not the biggest of the year. Now, before we get into that, if somebody can make a name for the community, that would be really cool. Like, whoever wants to make a name for the community, and maybe if it makes the top comment, we'll just call ourselves that. Somebody on TikTok said paysexuals. I don't think that's it, but y'all, somebody who leave a comment to name this community, make it something pretty cool. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video. Nobody. There's, again, still no sponsor for my videos, but it has been 5 years since Travis Scott's last album being Astroworld, and people have been clamoring for Utopia for an extremely long time. 5 years is a crazy long time to not drop a project. And let's just say a lot has happened since then, and Travis Scott has an opportunity to take over this year because rap, again, even though rap's coming around a little bit, it's still been a pretty weak year in terms of like charts and numbers and rap just being the focus of pop culture. Like, it's been pretty weak for rap in terms of those types of things. So this could be the thing that really puts all eyes on rap and really flips the narrative on rap in 2023. So for each category, my expectations, my hopes, and my predictions, I'm going to give a couple of things that fit that criteria, at least in my opinion, that I expect to see on the project, that I hope to see, and that I predict will happen in terms of like how this project plays out. So to first get into my expectations, I do expect this to be a good project. I don't think Travis Scott has a bad project. Travis Scott is a pretty reliable artist when it comes to releasing quality music. And I just don't expect this to change anytime soon. I don't expect this album to be randomly bad or anything like that. Now, to be fair, Travis's performances on songs leading up to this album hasn't been great or hasn't been that well received, but I think this is mostly because Travis has been saving the good stuff for Utopia. I have a lot of faith in Travis Scott. He's one of the artists to where I'm just like, okay, if he's dropping something, I expect the quality to be relatively high. So I expect this to be, at least, at the very least, a good project. The next thing that I expect is that there will be somewhere between 5 to 8 features and probably around 20 songs. Travis Scott is a pretty feature, I won't say feature heavy, but he does incorporate features pretty regularly into his music. He's not a guy, at least as of recently and as we saw in Astroworld, he's not a guy that's going to drop an entire project with one feature or with no features. So I do expect that trend to continue. There's been rumors of, people like Sway Lee, Kanye, and others being on the project, Kid Cudi. So I do expect this trend to continue. I expect there to be a healthy dose of features on this project, maybe half the songs or slightly below half the songs to have a feature on this project. I do believe that leaks like God's Country and Lost Forever will be on this project. I don't know if I can really call them just leaks outright. I'll say like leaks / snippets will be on this project because I feel like Travis Scott throughout his career has been pretty reliable when it comes to putting songs that we've already heard onto projects, especially if people really like them. So I expect him to continue this trend and put a couple of songs on there that we've already heard. I don't expect the entire project to just be stuff that we've already heard that's, been played in snippets or that's been leaked online. I don't expect the entire project to be like that, but I do expect there to be a healthy dose of leaks throughout this project, maybe like 3 to 4 songs, maybe up to 5. I don't expect the whole thing to be leaks, but I think Travis Scott does like to play into the stuff that people have already heard that's been released. And then not only releasing those songs that we've already heard, but adding a little bit of, a little bit of new wrinkles to those songs and adding some maybe, beat switches or something like that. Something new and something fresh. So it's not just, oh, the leaked song is on the album now. He does like to kind of toy with that type of stuff. So I expect there to be a whole bunch of leaks on this project, maybe like 5 to 8. But I do expect some of them to have some new wrinkles that we maybe never heard or didn't expect. Another expectation that I have that's, a pretty easy expectation to have, it happens with every album, is that people will meet ride this album on Twitter. You know the memes that they do, Travis Scott on Utopia, and it's going to be him holding all the trophies, or Travis Scott and Kid Cudi on this song, and it's going to be the LeBron and Kyrie thing. Like, they do it for every album that comes out, and then they hate on the album like 20 minutes later. Like, Twitter's going to meet ride this album. They're going to say it's the best project that's ever came out, even though a lot of people might not even think that. It's just what happens when somebody like Travis Scott, an artist of his stature, drops a project. Everyone on Twitter just starts meet riding it. And for my final expectation, I expect this project to sell over 300K because of the bundles. Now, can Travis sell over 300K without the bundles? Yes, but he will for sure sell over 300K with the bundles if they're actually there. You know, I seen them on the website not that long ago, but then I think he took them down as of recently. I have not checked in the last like 24 hours, but I'll check right now. So it appears that the bundles are back on the website, and if these things are into play in terms of sales, if they do count towards his sales, I know Billboard has certain rules and they have to be like approved by Billboard now. It's not just like you can just bundle together anything willy-nilly. If those things are in play, he's for sure selling over 300K, so I expect him to sell over 300K in general, but especially if there are bundles. I think this is going to be a really huge project. And then you add on the numbers of people buying the t-shirts and the hoodies, the numbers are going to go crazy. It's Travis Scott. We've seen it with Astroworld. It sold over 500K, and a lot of those were because of the bundles. Just being real, I'm not hating, just keeping it real. So if the bundles are there again, he will sell over 300K. Now to get into my hopes for this album, the first hope that I have is that Travis Scott shows us something new. Now, that's not for me to say that like Travis Scott is DaBaby and he makes the same song over and over again, but Travis Scott does have a relative style that he likes to stick with. And so I hope that after 5 years off, Travis Scott brings us something crazy, something new. He doesn't have to change his whole style and do something completely different, but I would like to see some new wrinkles to his game. It's been 5 years. I expect you to come with something kind of fresh, something kind of new. Again, he doesn't have to change everything, but at least give us something new to go, wow, we've never heard that from Travis Scott, because it's been 5 years. If you come back after 5 years with the same old, I'm going to be, a little bit questioning somebody like Travis Scott, especially because he's so creative and he's so artsy fartsy and all that stuff. So I hope that there's actually a lot of new things and new wrinkles to Travis Scott's game. My next hope is that Kanye is somewhere on the album, either producing or a feature. It's been a rough time for Kanye and Kanye fans over the last year. That's all I'm going to say about that, but I do hope that he's there. My next hope is that I hope this album is great. I hope this is a really, really great rap album because, again, we have not gotten a lot of great rap albums in 2023. It's been kind of a iffy year. There's been good projects. There's even been great projects, but overall, it has not been one of the best years in rap, and I always want it to be one of the best years in rap. So I hope this is a really great project, especially because Travis Scott is coming back after 5 years, and when you put that big of a space in between each of your projects, every single project becomes like a legacy project at this point. Like, it becomes do or die. Like with YoungBoy, if YoungBoy drops a project every 4 months and, a couple of them are bad, it's like, whatever, he drops every 3 months. It doesn't really matter. But if you take 5 years off and you come back and the project's not great, then it becomes a major problem. So I do hope this project is great. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest fan of Travis Scott, but I am a fan of his music, and I hope that he does well. And I hope that this is a great album because 2023 mainstream rap really needs it. And for my last hope, this is low-key the most important one to me. Like, if I had to choose out of all the hopes that I listed to come true, it would be this one. And all the other ones can just, whatever, who cares? I hope that Sheck Wes and SoFaygo are on this album, especially SoFaygo, but Sheck Wes as well. I actually really like Sheck Wes. I'm going to talk about him a little bit first because it's a little bit quicker. I like Sheck Wes a lot. I think his project Mudboy is really good. He hasn't dropped a project since then for some reason. I don't know what's going on with him, but he actually has a lot of talent to me outside of just, he made Mo Bamba. And I don't want him to go down as an answer to a trivia question in 20 years when kids are playing, hip hop trivia and they pull out the card, who made the song Mo Bamba, and somebody else. I don't want Sheck Wes to have that in his future. I think he actually is a very talented artist. So I hope he's on here. I hope he can get a boost from this album and then drop a project afterwards, his own project, and do really well. I really do like Sheck Wes. I also really want to see SoFaygo on this project. If I had to choose between Sheck Wes and SoFaygo being on this project, I would choose SoFaygo because SoFaygo has kind of had a rough time since joining Cactus Jack. It's been a little iffy. He went a very long period without dropping music. Then he finally dropped an EP, and people were like, it's cool. Then he finally dropped Pink Hearts, and people weren't so high on it. His stock was overall down. It's actually gone back up recently with his new project. I believe it's Go Plus or something like that, I believe is the name. I hate when artists put like symbols in the title because I don't know how to say the title, but it was actually a very well-received project, and SoFaygo has gotten a little bit of momentum back, so this would be a major boost to be on a project like Utopia, one of the biggest projects of the year, probably the biggest rap album of this year. That'd be a huge boost. People would go and click on his music on Spotify, it'd run up his numbers, and then he could drop a project after, he just dropped one, so maybe a little bit down the line, but it would just be a major boost to Sofago. And he's just had a really rough time since joining Cactus Jack. He lost like all of his momentum by the time of like 2022, and he's been trying to slowly build his way back up. And this could be a major career boost for Sofago. I really do like the guy. I know I've been a little critical of him in the past, Jesus, but I do really like him, and I think he has potential, so I really hope that he's on this project and finally gets some sort of compensation for this rough span of time that he's had to go through since he signed to Cactus Jack. And now to get into my predictions. Now, my predictions aren't going to be completely random, just off the wall stuff, but they're going to be things that I think realistically could happen, but they're not all super likely. Like, oh, Travis Scott is going to drop an album with more than 12. Like, it's not going to be something like that. So these are things that could likely happen, but if I predict them and get them right, I'm going to feel really smart. So just let me have this. The first prediction I have is that some people may be a little underwhelmed by this project initially, just because everyone's going to have such high expectations for Utopia. It's been 5 years. Everyone's waiting on Travis Scott to drop. You know, he's pulled out of dropping the project in 2022. He was supposed to drop it then. He was obviously supposed to drop it a little bit faster before the Astroworld incident. So everyone's been waiting. Everyone's expectations are to the ceiling. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to be the best thing ever. And so maybe if it's not an automatic 10 out of 10 project, maybe if it's not the best thing that they've ever heard initially, they're going to kind of be down on this album, call it mid, maybe in the beginning. I'm not saying everyone's going to hate on this album, but I think people are going to be a little underwhelmed initially just because they just had these insane just expectations that were probably never going to be met, even if it was the best project ever. My next prediction is I don't think Travis Scott really does anything to directly address the Astroworld and Astrofest situation. One of the most tragic events to happen in like concert going history in like a long time, probably since like the Ariana Grande thing. But I don't think he will directly address it. There's still a lot of lawsuits and technical stuff going on there, and I just don't think he's gonna want to like admit any guilt or anything like that. But I do think he will address his mental health over the last couple of years because of that situation and talk about how it affected him and things like that on the album. But I don't expect him to give a full breakdown and be like, oh my God, it wasn't my fault. Like, I don't expect him to do that on the project. I do expect him though to talk about how it affected his mental health and talk about how, he's gone through things over the last couple of years and he's learned this and he's learned that and he's going to do this in the future. Like, I do expect that from him, but I don't expect him to directly address that night and talk about what happened. For my next prediction, I believe that at least 5 of the songs on Utopia will take up spots on the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 songs. The Hot 100 list right now is kind of weak. There's not anything super crazy going on right now. So this is the perfect time for Travis Scott to kind of come in and strike and get a whole bunch of songs in the top 10. This is going to be a huge project. There's not a lot going on musically right now. It's not like Taylor Swift just dropped. It's not like Morgan Wallen just dropped, which thank God, I was so sick of seeing him at the top of the charts. But there's not a lot going on right now, so I think Travis could kind of slide in and take over at least half. And for my last prediction, I'm going to try to predict the sales for this album. Now, this is going to be extremely tough just because Travis has not dropped in a long time, and the sales are all over the place this year. Kodak Black's selling 20K. It's crazy. Like I just, you never really know in 2023, especially with somebody who hasn't dropped in an extremely long time. But I think Travis is bona fide one of the top 5 biggest rap artists in the game, in the world. I think he's one of the biggest artists in the world. His Spotify monthly listeners is consistently somewhere around 50 million, even without dropping music. So I do expect him to do very well on this project. And as I'm looking at my notes, I'm going to boost this a little bit, actually. Okay. Give me some time. I'm going to boost this a little bit. I initially was going to say that Travis Scott sells 250K or 225K with no bundles, but I'm going to bump that up to 250K. I think Travis Scott sells 250K without bundles. Now, I don't expect him to drop without bundles, but if he doesn't have any bundles, he's going to sell around 250K. And if he does have bundles, I think Travis Scott will end up selling somewhere around like 370, 375. I'll end on 375 with bundles. 250 without. No. That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. 250 without bundles. I'll say 345 with bundles. I don't think he's going to have like a crazy jump. So my final sales predictions for this album are Travis Scott sells 250K with no bundles, and he sells 345 with bundles. I could be wrong. I could be right. I guess we'll only know in a week's time, but that's my prediction. And that's going to wrap up this video. I'm really excited for this album. I'm not going to listen to it live on stream just because I feel like whenever I listen to an album on stream, it's never as good as when I listen to it by myself. I don't really know why, but that's just my thing. So I'm not going to stream this album, but I'm really looking forward to this album. And if you have anything that you want to say about my predictions, my hopes, and my expectations, leave a comment down below. Tell me why my expectations are really stupid. Tell me why my hopes are really stupid. Tell me why my predictions make no sense. And I'm an idiot. I'm just blabbering. I'm just yapping on the internet. But if you made it this far, leave a like, leave a subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And remember, don't take my opinions too serious. I'm just some college kid in his parents' house making videos trying to get a buck to pay his tuition. So don't take what I'm saying too serious. It's not that deep. It's just my opinion. But if you like this video, I appreciate it. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you. Like truly do. Like no BS. I'm not Doja Cat. But yeah, leave a like, leave a subscribe. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Have a great day. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.